Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I want to do a quick talk about my experience with the 35 2.8 on the Sony A7S that I rented. Now this is a FE mount. It's a E mount, but it's F for full frame. Now there's not a lot of options out there, as you may know if you looked into it, for full frame lenses for the E mount, but this is definitely one of them. Now I've used this for about a week with my rental of the A7S. And I want to talk about my experience with it. I did video, which I'll show you guys, and then I did some photos, which I'll show you guys as well. So first off, the lens is really nice and small. You guys can see it in my hand right here. It's a full frame, 35 millimeters. It's a f2.8, which helps them make it smaller. That's the first thing I kind of want to mention. That's definitely enough, especially if you're shooting with the A7S. As far as low light, you won't have an issue. If you're shooting with the A7 or A7R, it's not going to be as good. But 2.8, you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not f4. It's not f5.6. It's f2.8. And because of that, they're able to make it so small, as you guys see here. And when it's put onto one of these Alpha 7 or S or 7R bodies, I mean, it looks really nice and really small, compact. But in my experience, there were times when I was using this, taking some photos and some video, where I wanted slightly shallower depth of field. Now, of course, this is a full frame, so it's still not bad. But if you're comparing it to other professional options that Canon has, that Nikon has, you know, they have f1.4 lenses. And you know, if you want to have a wider angle with shallow depth of field, you can do more of that, get shallower depth of field than you can on here. So personally, I would have liked to have maybe even an f2.0 instead of f2.8 and have the lens be slightly larger than have it be like this. If you look at the new lens from Canon, which I'll mention a couple times in this video, it's the 35mm F2.0. That is larger, definitely, but it also has image stabilization, which is another thing I would have liked. I think Canon is switching that way. They have rumored of a 50mm F1.8 with image stabilization. This lens does not have that, and especially if you're looking to get the A7S that has bad shutter roll problems or just not very fast shutter readout there, that also helps with that when you're using handheld. Because of a handheld shake, which you won't get as much on this one, but you'll get it on some other, the 55 that I have, that definitely would help. So I would have liked to have that as well. But still, f2.8 is not bad at all. Now, since they're trying to go with a smaller design, you have this lens hood that they designed, which was kind of awkward for me. At first, I wasn't sure what it was. I wasn't familiar with it. So it actually turns off like that, just like a regular one, and pops off. So it's this tiny little device you guys see here. And I don't know how well it works. I didn't have tons of testing, and I didn't try to see how the flare was. And of course, I don't have a comparison with another type of, you know, lens hood for this, but it keeps it really nice and compact. But there is an issue that I came across. Now, this particular one, as you guys can see, would fall off very easy. I would bump in, it would fall off, and I almost lost the hood, which is not good when you're renting a lens. And then it also separated. I think this is supposed to be two parts right here, as you guys see, and there's some glue on the inside. It almost looks like a hot glue or like some silicone glue or something, but it popped off really easily. So I'm not sure if other people have had this experience, but that is kind of annoying. You don't want to lose this. So I probably would have preferred maybe a different type of hood, or if they would throw it into the box, maybe this style plus another style. I mean, I guess I'll transition into the price. This lens is $800. Now, I think that is slightly on the expensive side for a lens like this. It's f2.8, not like a f, 2.0 even, and it is weather sealed, which is a bonus, but $800 is a good amount of money. I think Sony is kind of making higher prices for their lenses because they're trying to keep their bodies at a lower price. So have that initial price, $2,500 for the A7S instead of over $3,000 for a Canon or a Nikon, kind of gets people in the door, but they're charging more for a lens. Still, you have a weather sealed lens. The sharpness is fantastic. So if you guys have been seeing some of this footage I've been throwing in, here's some photos for you guys. Here's a nice looking photo. Let me crop it in to 100%, and you guys will see the little hairs you know, it's very, very impressive. Now I know this is a f2.8. If this was a f1.4, there could be a difference here, but for f2.8, you know, wide open, the image quality is very, very nice, very sharp, definitely good glass here. And for $800, it's not bad. It's not amazing. You know, I've had experience with lots of L glass. Amazing as far as the lens. The sharpness is fantastic, but for the money, I think they could have gave you a better value, but that's kind of what you have to deal with. So the last thing I want to mention to you guys is the close, you know, the amount, what's it called? The minimum focusing distance. There you go. It totally left my mind. The minimal focusing distance was one other thing that I wasn't thinking about, but kind of surprised me. Now, it's not bad, at least by the numbers. It's 1.15 feet is the minimum focusing distance, but I felt like it wasn't great. I've had a lot of time behind a Canon 35mm F1.4 L lens, and it just seemed like I just couldn't get as close to my objects as I was used to with that lens. And then that lens is actually it's 1 foot is a minimal focusing distance, which doesn't sound like it's a lot more, but I could still kind of feel it from my experience. Now, the other lens that I'm using right now to record this is the Sigma 18-35, and the minimal focusing distance, I mean, it's a zoom lens, so it's different. It's 11 inches, which is, you know, better, and it's definitely amazed me. Now, one other lens that I already mentioned, the new Canon 35mm F2.8, which is about $600. You can actually find it about $550, $500 sometimes. That is 9 inches minimal focusing distance. So you have a $600 lens, 9 inches minimal focusing distance. You have a F2.0, it's sharp, and you have image stabilization. So I'm not trying to discourage you guys from buying this lens. If you have this camera, I would, you know, if I was to purchase one of these, I would definitely buy one of these anyways. I know it's a little bit, maybe I think it's slightly overpriced, but the price could definitely come down. This is a new lens and a new camera, so maybe a couple months from now, half a year from now, the price will come down. But, you know, compared to other lenses, it's not amazing as far as what you get for the money, but it is a nice, really small, compact lens, small lens hood as long as it doesn't pop off on you. You know, maybe this is just an issue with this rental since it, you know, gets handled a lot with different users, but it's very, very sharp. The focusing ring is has more resistance than the 55mm, which is kind of different, but it is, you know, it's all focused by wire, fly by wire. Still, I had a good experience, you know, using it for autofocus. Definitely better on this Sony camera than, say, some other cameras that I've used, specifically the EOS M that I had. That fly-by-wire system with Canon was not as good as this. But still, you know, I like the lens, so if you guys are purchasing one of these A7s, A7S, A7R, you know, I think it's a fantastic option, especially if you're buying something like this to have it be nice and compact, you know, so you don't have something huge sticking out of there, which is definitely a benefit with something like this. So let me know, guys, do you have one of these lenses? What's your experience with it? Do you like it? What are some downsides you might, you know, kind of think of it? Let me know. I'd love to hear opinions. If you have any questions for me, I'll definitely answer everything I can. I am sending this back. It is a rental, but I enjoyed it definitely. So if you guys are interested, hopefully that helped you guys out. I will have some links in the description if you guys want to purchase one of these. If you click on one of those links, I get a small kickback that supports my channel. So if you guys want to do that, that helps me out. If you guys don't want to do that, you know, you guys don't have to. So thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day. See ya.